Brown and red leaves crunched under my boots as I hurried down Main Street, trying not to let the pile of books in my arms topple over. I shouldn't have stopped at the bookstore, and I very well knew it, but I couldn't resist. They had my favorite series on display in the window, and they had the new covers I'd been dying to get my hands on for weeks. Now that I was back in town after a summer in the middle of nowhere, it seemed like the perfect opportunity. "Do you need help with that, miss?" an old man asked as I went past. He was the third person to ask me something along those lines since I left the bookstore, and as nice as it was getting a little tiring to have to say no every time. "I'm fine, thank you," I said, smiling brightly. He nodded and tipped his hat at me, continuing on his way down the street. The wind blew heavily at my back, pushing my hair in my face. I shook my head to make it better, but all that did was make more hair end up in front of my eyes. I didn't have a spare hand to fix it, so I guess I just had to leave it as it was. At least I was used to having hair in my face all the time anyway. "Avi!" a boy's voice called. In my current state, I couldn't see where it was coming from or who it was, but I didn't care anyway. I was so conditioned to getting called Aviana that I almost responded to it more than I did my own name. But I didn't have the time to stop and talk to anyone right now. "Avi, wait up!" A heavy hand landed on my elbow, tugging me back. It wasn't a hard pull, but it was just enough force that it made me stumble backward. The boy came around, so he was standing in front of me. I took the moment of standing still to get one of my hands free, and I pushed the hair out of my face and behind my back as much as I could with the wind still blowing. I should have put it up in a ponytail or something, but I didn't have any hair elastics on me. Avi refused to carry them, so she always stole them from me whenever we were out. And now that we were back to having our own rooms, I couldn't take them back quite as easily. "Didn't you hear me calling you?" the boy asked. I didn't respond immediately as I took him in. He looked about my age, which made sense if he was looking for Avi. And based on his build, he was probably an athlete of some sort. I didn't recognize him, but I rarely recognized boys since I hadn't gone to school with them until now. "I'm not Avi," I said. Unlike when I was talking to strangers as they passed, my voice was quiet. Almost inaudible, actually. I was fine talking to people if we were just passing on the street, but as soon as that turned into a conversation, I could barely get words out, especially with cute boys who thought I was my sister. "What?" he asked. His hair flopped around as he shook his head. "Look, stop playing around. Why didn't you answer my texts? I'm not Avi," I repeated, this time with slightly more force in my voice. Of course, that just meant I was one notch closer to sounding like a normal human being, so I wasn't sure it helped my case that much. The boy frowned. "Of course you are." "No," I said. "I'm Adeline." He stared at me, his eyebrows knitting together.